I'm Chef Lynn, and this is the Flavor Secrets Kitchen. Today we're here with Christy McDonald,
Hello.
and we're going to be talking about date night dinners.
Absolutely.
So let me throw this to you first, Christy, and let's tell people what a date night dinner is and what's your expectation for that.
Okay, a date night dinner is when you can finally sit down with your husband at the end of a long day and your 3 children have gone to bed and you can finally actually taste your food. Because anyone who has kids out there knows that sometimes mealtime is not the most relaxing thing in the world. So when Chef Lynn said, come on, let's come on and cook something, I said, all right, I have to know how to make a great date night dinner because every Saturday night, my husband and I put the kids to bed around 8 o'clock or 8:15, and then I get to get in the kitchen and start cooking. And so I'm always looking for a cool, interesting, not very hard dish to make for date night.
Right, okay, so cool, you said cool, simple, interesting, and it also needs to be quick because you're not starting until 8:15.
Exactly, so I don't want to be eating at 11 o'clock at night. And also I was thinking about, because it's so glorious this time of the year and a lot of the fresh produce out there, so throw that all in a bowl and shake it up, and what do you have for me today?
Okay, all right. And I'm going to add another word in there, and that's practical. So the date night dinner that I've come up with for today is really very simple. It has 3 elements. It goes together really quickly, and it actually uses leftovers.
See, I love leftovers. Okay.
All right, so we're going to end up with making a beautiful summer pasta salad.
Okay.
We're going to be making some kebabs. We're going to be making a couple little things to go with them to make that special. The first thing is some basil pesto, and then I'm going to show you how to make a really quick and simple vinaigrette. Okay. And we're going to make a little bit extra of everything so that during the next week you can go ahead and use those
and so I can take it home.
More meals, and also you can take it home. Right.
Okay, my basil is exploding right now. That's the one thing I love to grow in the summertime, big pot outside on the patio.
Right, that's exactly the reason that I chose the basil pesto for today. Because you can see that here's what happened to my basil. It's starting to flower already, and so I thought, boy, I need to use that basil, and that always screams to me pesto, okay? The wonderful thing about pesto is that you can freeze it in ice cube trays, I almost said tubes, ice cube trays, or little containers, and
so
then
just
use
to have
it
it
all
throughout
winter.
the year?
Right, right, so it doesn't matter if you want to make a lot of, or if you have a lot of leftover basil. So you can see as we're talking, I'm just picking off these leaves. I don't want to use the stem to the basil because it has a little bit of a bitter component. So we'll throw the stems away, but we'll use all of these leaves. And what I like to do is just fill the food processor up with leaves. That's how I figure out how much. I'm guessing it's maybe 3 cups of leaves. I wish you could smell this, isn't it?
Yeah, too bad it's not smell-o-vision, right?
Smell-o-vision, right?
Love
yeah,
it.
it's great.
I love the smell of fresh basil.
Okay, so first thing you want to do is wash it.
Okay.
Make sure you didn't bring in any bees or ants or whatever. In fact,
add a whole different component to the dish, right?
Right. Actually, it might be kind of tasty, but most people don't like bees in their pesto. Okay, and I've got the knife blade for the food processor in here, and all we're going to do is add about 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. This is already grated. We're going to add 1 clove of garlic. Now, somebody asked me the other day, the little white thing that you buy in the grocery store, I think you know this, but everybody doesn't, is called a head. And each little piece of it is called a clove. So all we have to do is take the paper off of it,
you don't have to smash it or chop it, just throw the whole thing in.
Don't have to do anything because this blade is going to chop this all up really nicely. And then we're going to throw in some pine nuts. And this is maybe 1/4 cup of pine nuts. And what I did is I put them in an oven at 400 degrees for about 7 minutes.
Nice and toasty.
Set your timer, don't forget, because they burn really fast. And I found that 7 minutes is about perfect. You want them to be just a little bit golden. You can see how the color's changed. Pine nuts are usually pretty white. Just a little bit golden, and what that does is it enhances the taste. Then all we have to do is turn our food processor on, and I kind of like to pulse it so I can keep an eye on it, but if you want to with pesto, you can just turn it on and let it go.
Okay.
And that's all there is to it. Just for a minute, until you can see that everything is chopped up really, really tiny. If you like it coarse, you can leave it coarse, but it's better really to chop it up as tiny as you can.
It's really fragrant.
Yeah, so I'm going to smell the garlic.
Yes.
Pesto, I have a little bit of a problem with garlic, so pesto isn't my best thing to eat, but it's not the same without the garlic. Okay, so until it almost starts to, see how it starts to look wet and really get chopped up?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to take this piece off, put it back over here, and all I have to do now is add a little bit of oil. But you want to add the oil carefully so that it doesn't get goopy or gummy.
Okay, I think that's what happened to my pesto the last time I made it. it was kind of almost slimy.
Slimy?
It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Okay, so we're gonna do this while this is running, and luckily this is clear so we can keep an eye on it. You probably need less, there's the on button, you probably need less than you think. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit of it in, a little bit more, until it looks like a paste. Okay, and I'm gonna stop it, and as with anything that you're baking, scrape down the sides. Let me grab a spatula back here. Scrape down the sides so that we get it all in there. And you can see it's already a really nice consistency. And so it's probably already has enough oil. And at the time of serving, you can always add more if you want to. If you need a little more, if it dries out. So we'll put this back on, run it one more time.
Yep.
And our pesto is done.
Now, you talked about you can freeze it and you can have it all throughout the winter, but how long should you keep fresh pesto?
Fresh pesto can be kept in the refrigerator for several weeks. No
Oh,
problem.
okay. So
yeah, no problem.
Once you've made and you have a lot of it, it can hang around for a while.
Right. If you think about it, it's things that you can keep in the refrigerator for a long time anyway. It's fresh herbs, it's pine nuts, it's Parmesan. You can leave Parmesan in your refrigerator for months. So there's nothing in there that will go bad like cream or egg.
Okay.
So that's a really good question. All right, so this is the little container that I chose to put the pesto in for our dish.
Very cute.
So let's just take some out of here, and that's all ready for plating. Leftover pesto is great for pasta. You can use that just as a pasta sauce by itself. Maybe you want to add just a little bit of oil if you wanted to do that, but it's a great sauce, and there are just tons of things you can use it for. Today we're just using it kind of as a dip for our meat.
Nice. Yeah, this looks really nice.
Okay, next we're going to take a look at the ingredients for the salad.
Okay.
Let's bring the salad things over here.
Bacon, corn, pine nuts. It's like I'm never going to leave your kitchen. Some of my favorite ingredients of all time.
Yeah, I always say if you want someone to love your dish and you're not really worried about nutrition at all, add some bacon or some sugar because they're both addictive.
It's a treat too, because I don't think people eat a lot of bacon, perhaps,
Right.
as they used to. So when they see it somewhere, it really is a good treat.
Right, and as you can see, in our salad, we're using 3 whole pieces of bacon. So each person, this is probably enough for 4 people. You'll have a little bit left over that you can give to the kids the next day, and they'll love it too.
Good.
So we're not using very much bacon at all. We're also going to put some grilled summer vegetables in here. So let me turn on my grill. It's a little bit different grilling inside on one of these types of grills than it is outside.
What are the differences?
This one doesn't have as much temperature fluctuation. You can have, they're a little bit problematic because once they're hot, they're going to stay hot. There's no way to really turn it down too much. So you've got to be a little bit more careful inside than outside. Outside, you have a little more control of heat, is what I'm trying to say. So when you turn it on before it gets too hot, we want to grease the grill so that what we're making won't stick to it. And most chefs would use a rag and just kind of go like this and grease the grill. The reason is I don't want to get a lot of oil down inside the grill because then I'll get those awful flare-ups that make your food taste smoky and are really carcinogenous. They're not good for you. So I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on the grill, and I'll also put oil on the product that I'm going to grill also. Okay, so here we've got some summer squash and we've got some zucchini. Okay, so we need a big knife back here. I want to have straight slices, so I've got a knife that's longer than what it is I'm cutting. So I'll just cut off the ends here of the zucchini, and those could go in my little vegetable stock.
You save them for later. I know.
I save them for later.
She's like, oh, I take some of the leftover vegetables. I make my own vegetable stock, and it's very impressive. I didn't even think about that because sometimes I just end up throwing out, or when you're done with something.
Sure. Actually, there's a clip about the vegetable stock on the Bloomfield Township website. So if you wanted to know more about how to make your own vegetable stock each week, take a look at that. You just go to bloomfieldtwp.org and then look on the Flavor Secrets on the video on demand. You have to click on video on demand first, and then a list comes up and you click on Flavor Secrets, and then you can just scroll down and find the vegetable stock tip. Okay, so now as you can see, I'm just adding a little bit of salt and pepper after the oil so that the salt and pepper sticks. And you could actually put some pepper on both sides. I like to use this Lowry's mixed pepper. It's got some red, some black. I think it's prettier
so
than just the regular
black pepper.
And you may feel like I'm putting a lot of pepper on here, but actually some of the pepper falls off, so I like to over pepper it a little bit so I'll get that taste.
And you buy this already ground, or do you grind it yourself? Or
I buy that. I buy the Lowry's in a jar. And
Okay, so it's already mixed up.
Right, yeah, I don't grind it myself. Okay, now when I put these on the grill, you can see I'm putting them on an angle. And this doesn't really matter with this because we're going to cut it into dice when we're finished anyway. But I just wanted to show you the way you get those perfect grill marks. For example, if you want to make a steak and you want those perfect hash marks.
Yeah.
Okay, so first you're going to put it on your steak on this way. Imagine an X. So put it on this way first and then let it sit there until you've got some really nice grill marks, and then turn it exactly in an X the other way, and you'll have some beautiful grill marks that will make
all
a
about
nice
the presentation. You gotta have a good presentation.
Right, and I think that's
to make it look complicated. Not really complicated, but it looks really impressive.
Right, and that's really important for date night, though. I think what you're looking for is to show that you gave just a little bit extra effort. So if you spend some time on presentation...
You talk to my husband, he's like, effort schmeffort, where's the food?
Where's the food?
Where's dinner?
I don't know. When I first started working on date night, and I'll never forget one of them, I put the dish in front of my husband and he said, ooh, fancy. And I thought, I hit the jackpot with that
There you
one.
go, you won on that one.
Then I started doing it a little more, doing it more.
Part of it for me also is, it's at the end of my day and I actually get a chance to relax. And so I find it a little bit cathartic to be able just to cook a little bit. And it's something that I'm doing that I can see, the fruits of your labor. And when it comes out looking nice, it's a little accomplishment for me because I got to take a little extra time to do something and then share a meal and a nice glass of wine.
Right, so that will enter into your decision about how much you want to do before or how much you want to do after. Okay, so actually I shouldn't have taken this cutting board away. Let me bring it back here. This only had the vegetables on it so far. Okay. So while I'm talking about the meat then, how about if you prepare the rest of the pieces for the salad?
All right, I can try.
I think you'll be just fine.
I could screw it up, but I'm going to try.
No. So what we have in our salad, and we were talking about little things that make dishes special. For the pasta salad, I chose a different kind of pasta that I don't normally use. So, it goes back to what's normal for your household. What kinds of things does he really like to eat, or would he find special? And if he looks at this pasta and says, oh my gosh, what's that? It's so pretty. You can say, well, that's campanella. And Google it and find out all about it and explain it. So it gives you a little dinner conversation too. But anyway, this is campanella, C-A-M-P-A-N-E-L-L-E. And it's just a kind of a pretty form of pasta, and that's the only reason I chose it.
It's roughly.
Doesn't taste any different than any other pasta. And to cook this, I put this in some boiling salted water, salt to bring out the taste, because salt and lemon always bring out the taste. And I cooked it for exactly 7 minutes. When you have this pasta that's already finished, 7 minutes will do it. It's always perfect every time. Okay, so this is actually left over from dinner last night, but why waste it? Corn that's on the cob is so good. So put the flat end down. Again, we always, whenever we cut anything, we want to cut away from ourselves and have it in a stable position, because this is a good chance to cut yourself. So, and then just kind of dig the knife in so that you get the bottom of the corn in these nice pieces, and then you can just put those pieces right into the pasta. Now let's bring our meat over here.
Okay, what do you have?
This meat is filet, and it's left over from a party. Okay. I bought a large piece of filet, okay? And when you open up the package that has the whole beef filet in it, there's a piece along the side that's called the chain. And a lot of people throw that away because it has some connective tissue in it and it looks a little fattier, but it's just as tender and wonderful as the tenderloin itself. Now let's say you wanted to do this for a party. Let me move these off here. Now they're just perfect and they'll cool over there. Actually, I'm going to take this and bring them over here on your...
You want me to move this here?
This can... You don't even have to move that away because it's all going into the same salad. Let me see if I can pull these over here. Just let them cool for a minute, and then I'll show you how to cut those into dice. Remember that they don't have to be totally finished because they'll continue to cook as they sit here. It's called carryover cooking.
It smells nice.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to love this pasta too, I think. Okay, so we were talking about the end pieces of the filet, and for this party, I took the filet. It's cheaper to buy of the whole filet and cut it into steaks. Whenever you can save the labor, you're usually saving money. So I cut the nice part of the filet into steaks, and then I had all these pieces left over. So these are fresh, but you could freeze them and just take them out as you want to. So that's another thing. Another element of date night is you don't want to have to say, oh, I have to run to the store. What am I going to make? I don't want to have 50,000 ingredients.
I don't have to drag the 3 kids to the store, actually.
Right, exactly. Oh, in those little car.
Oh, I know. The kids always want to ride that. And I'm like,
those?
no, I can't. You can't turn. You can't navigate. I'm like, no, they're not working.
Once you
today.
get groceries in there, they're
They're
impossible. Okay, so what I've got here is the tail end of the fillet. Almost looks like a fish tail. And then I've got the chain in a piece. This was in 2 pieces like this, and this is part of the chain too. This is the other tail. Okay, so the perfect solution for how to use this is a kebab because we want small pieces.
Right.
Okay, so now let me wash my hands off for a second, and I'll show you how to dice. Dice that. We're going back and forth here a little bit, but
we're multitasking. It's good.
I think that's
all good.
Right. Wipe my hands off here. Okay, so now to make the perfect dice, the best way to do it is with a long knife, which we've already used. Oh, there we've got one right there. That's longer than what your
item is,
and then you can make a nice straight cut. So you always cut it into julienne first, which means strip, and then turn it the other way, and you can come up with some perfect dice. This isn't quite cool enough, so you might want to wait just a minute before you. My fingers are like iron, but we don't.
Fingers of steel.
Fingers of steel. Fingers of steel. Can pick up anything hot.
Nothing wrong with that.
But you might not be too happy with that.
Okay.
Okay, and then when they're cooled and diced, just go ahead and put them in the salad.
Okay.
Okay, shall we put this other piece of bacon in there?
Absolutely. More bacon, more bacon.
More bacon, more bacon. This one you don't have to cut in half, but you can just, go ahead and use the scissors to put that in there also when you're finished.
All right, good.
So you've got jobs to do.
I've got jobs. It's all right.
Another really nice thing to do with beef is to put balsamic vinegar on it. I won't put it on today, but I just wanted to point this out that if I were doing these kebabs ahead in the afternoon while the kids are in school or napping, make up your kebabs and cover them with a little bit of balsamic vinegar, and it tastes great. It adds a nice little, almost like a sauce on it, and really is great. And you can use regular balsamic vinegar, or you can use this stuff that's called balsamic glaze. And the glazes actually come in different flavorings too. Like you can get fig and strawberry or pear, all kinds of really wonderful things.
Nice.
Okay, so now all I'm going to do is to cut this into pieces that will fit. Now remember, at this point I need to be thinking about what kind of skewer I'm going to use. So I'm going to use this small one. And I want to have bite-sized pieces because there's nothing worse than picking up a skewer and
big old
trying to gnaw down it like a corn on the cob, or having it all show up on your chest. So I'll just cut this small like this. And it's date night, so I'm going to go ahead and maybe waste a little bit, or that's good dog food too.
Right,
it's
there
really
you go
good
for
lean dog food.
Dogs.
Okay.
A mile away, just sniff. Wait.
Right.
What?
And then I want to hook these into the skewer so that they're not going to come off. So these are a nice size that they won't fall off.
And any trick to that? Any trick to putting anything on the skewer? Just know straight.
Yeah, that's a good question. In this case, because of its size, it's going to be okay to just put it on there. I can probably fit 3 on there. If you've got a piece of chicken tender or something like that, you're going to have a little more trouble getting it to hold on. So then it's easier, like a sauté or something, then weave it a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to work this meat into 3 little skewers since we're making one portion here for now. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing. This brush was just used for vegetables before, so I can go ahead and use it for meat, but after I use it on meat, then don't forget you can't go back to the vegetables because it's touched the raw meat. So I just want to have, again, a little bit of oil on here. I don't want it dripping down and causing a fire. Not because I've made such a big deal out of this, just because
now you're going to start
I'm
some
sure
kind of
this
fire.
is going to happen. As soon as I put these on, we'll start a fire. Okay, and again, salt and pepper on the raw meat. Salt and pepper, just a little bit.
What's your ultimate date night meal?
Oh my gosh, my ultimate date night meal. I don't know. You realize my profession is cooking. It might be my ultimate date night meal would be if you came over and made it. It might be going out to dinner.
Talk about on the spot.
No, I actually have an answer to that, and it's a bento box meal. And again, it's back to what we talked about earlier, which is presentation. I like to make a lot of little things and then present them beautifully. So little bites of things. So it's a lot more labor intensive, but that's kind of my passion, and I don't have 3 little kids at home.
You can borrow some. You can borrow some of mine if you like.
Actually, I would like to do that, actually.
7, 5, and 2. They'd be over at a jiffy. You might call me after an hour, but.
So a bento box is a Japanese lunch box, and it's it has little sections, so you can make little things like I might make a few grape leaves and put it in one section. I might make some chicken with a little rice and a little grilled pepper or something, put it in another, etc., etc.
Ooh, nice.
And it's really pretty. So don't forget, when you have these skewers on the grill, they get hot. So I had a mitt ready to grab these, and even though I've left the ends off so that these fancy little things on the end won't melt, I've still got to be careful because they'll get hot. So you want to warn your
don't just pick it up right off the grill.
Wait just a second, check with your fingers to make sure that you can pick up these are okay. These would not be a problem. And perhaps that's the reason that those little plastic things are there.
So let me ask you this, if we were doing this on an outdoor grill, would you do the same kind of skewer, or would you do it differently because you can't have like that close, you don't have the close proximity to put your hand in?
Oh, I see. You think they'd have to be in the middle? Well, if you've got a charcoal grill, you can build your fire in the middle, so that you've got space all around. So then you got a little bit around. Okay. Right. And if you've got a big grill, then you can light one side of it. Okay. So you can still do the same thing, but it's something to think about when you light your grill. Okay, so you see these are not sticking. I can even turn this off right now. These are not sticking because we put the oil on the grill, and then we put a little bit of oil on the meat. And the wonderful thing about using a nice cut of steak or filet is that it cooks really, really fast. So that goes into our formula here for date night. We want something fast. Okay, now we've got these pretty little skewers. I've got the grill turned off, so that can wait just a second. We've got our pasta here.
Okay, well,
so now we just need to put the toasted pine nuts in. Remember to toast the pine nuts.
I can do that.
It's 400-degree oven, preheated. Just put them on a cookie sheet with no oil or anything, and put them in there for about 7 minutes.
Oh, this looks glorious.
When you have little kebabs too, it's easy to cook them the way everybody likes them. I always say for a meal, my nightmare meal is always to make steaks for everyone, because you have to get everybody's steak done the way they want it. So with kebabs, it's a little easier, and people are a little more forgiving about that. Oh, you know what? We didn't make our vinaigrette. So let's quickly make our vinaigrette.
Okay.
I like to make vinaigrette in a little squeeze bottle, because then it's nice for just squirting over little salads or whatever you want to put it on.
You can get those squeeze bottles anywhere.
Yeah, you can? Okay.
Oh, Michael's, and I mean, you can find like different.
Right, actually, I think that's where I did get this, Michael's. Or cake decorating stores have them too. Okay, so this is the time to use your really nice balsamic vinegar. Okay. I got this at Williams-Sonoma. It's called Oliver. It's one of my favorite ones. And then I've got some Paso Olivo lemon olive oil. Remember, I mentioned earlier that 2 things kick up flavor. One is lemon and one is salt. So this is a very good use. That you're going to taste the vinaigrette. So you want to use your finest olive oil that you have in your house and your finest vinegar. So a vinaigrette is simply olive oil of your choice, balsamic of your choice, and a little bit of salt and pepper. So, and then we want to have, so let's say we want to use 1/8 of a cup. Where are the cups on here? I didn't put my glasses on today. Nope. I actually cannot see it.
It's right here.
Okay. Make sure you have young guests. Note to the producer.
We're all squinting, huh?
Okay, so there's 1/8 of a cup of balsamic vinegar. I'm just going to pour it in there. And then we want to use 1/4 of a cup of this beautiful, can you do it? This beautiful lemon olive oil.
I've got to get down on eye level.
I forgot to put my glasses on. I can't believe it.
That's all right.
Okay, keep an eye on your kebabs, because they're the best part of the meal.
Okay. So we've got 1/4 cup, so we just put that right on in?
Right. Okay. Put it right on in. Very good.
This is a neat measure. I don't have one of these at home.
You can get those pretty much any cooking store. Sur La Table, Williams-Sonoma. I think they might have them at Plum Market. I'm not sure. And then just take a pinch of salt first. The reason is because if you pinch in the pepper first, then you get all the pepper in the salt. And a pinch of pepper.
Then nobody likes you. Okay.
I think they probably don't care, but it doesn't look good.
I could mix up your salt and pepper and you'll never have me back. So do you then just cap it and shake it?
Just cap it and shake it, right. But remember that the tip is open, so put your finger over the tip and shake her up this way.
Give it a
right.
Good.
Okay, now if you can keep this, any extra, for quite a while in your refrigerator, but realize that the oil will solidify, so then you need to bring it back to room temperature or zap it for 5 seconds in your microwave before you use it. Okay, so you can just go ahead and put some
start
on
to drizzle
there.
a little bit.
Right. We probably can use all of that because we can probably open it up and just stir it all in.
Dump it
because
all
it's
in?
It turned out to be quite a big salad.
Okay.
Well,
I do have these at home.
Yeah, I think we can use all of it.
I
and
do
then
homemade
just stir it up.
chocolates, and it's really easy to put it in the molds just with that little.
Great. Okay, so that seems to be the perfect amount for this salad. Let me just move this out of the way. Okay. And then you notice I'm wiping off the plate. That's another thing that will make your meal look professional if you don't have finger marks all over your plate. And it also makes it more appetizing, believe it or not.
That's true.
Okay, so now I've got my beautiful kebabs here.
Okay.
1,
Ooh, they look
2.
nice.
Things in odd numbers, just like with gardening, work really well for creative presentation on plates. We're going to put our little basil pesto there. Make sure it's not smudgy either.
Okay.
And then for presentation, for plating, these what do you call them? Ladles, scoops, yeah, work really well. Then we can just decide how much we want to put in there. Oh, that corn looks beautiful.
It does. It smells so good. The balsamic.
Make sure we get some
smell.
grilled vegetables. That's beautiful. And it's now, in my mind, it's only missing one thing. We need a little bit of a cutting board again, and that's a little bit of garnish. I'm really big on garnish. I think it finishes off your plates and makes them look gorgeous. And it also makes them look fancy. We just need a little bit. We're going to make basil chiffonade here, and the way we do that is just to take 3 leaves, put it together and roll it up. And then you can take a pair of scissors and snip it really close together, or you can do this on a cutting board with a knife, but I didn't want to drag out another cutting board. So just cut it as closely as you can.
Okay.
And then you've got these nice little slivers. And then you can just kind of fluff it up a little bit and drop it right on your garnish. Do that at the last minute. That's the one thing you can't do ahead.
So it doesn't wilt.
So it doesn't wilt and turn brown. And there, I think you've got
I
a
love
beautiful
this. I love this
dinner.
date night meal. This looks delicious. And again, it's the fresh basil. You can just smell it in the corn, and the meat is done. It looks perfectly.
Super.
It's just, I love this.
Great.
Thank you so much. This is great. I'm going to try this at home next Saturday night.
Good.
With my husband, and he's going to like it. We're not going to. He doesn't get to weigh in either way. He's going to love this.
I hope so.
This is perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
you'll have to report back, and I hope you'll try it there at home too. I'm Chef Lynn, and this is the Flavor Secrets Kitchen. If you would like today's recipe, just email chef@flavorsecrets.com and request it. You can also review any episode by going to www.bloomfieldtwp.org. Click on Video on Demand on the right side of the screen, and then click on Flavor Secrets to choose your episode. Enjoy!